Let's revise Unit 1 of partnership, not fully, only half. Okay, so what do you mean by partnership? It is the relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business which is carried on by all or any of them acting for all. These persons are called as partners. How many essentials of partnership? 5. First one, association of persons, 2 or more persons. Second, agreement. Third, business. Next, share of profit. And last one, mutual agency. First one, association of 2 or more persons. So to form a partnership, minimum number of people, partners required are 2 and maximum number is specified under Companies Act. Companies Act says as prescribed, not being more than 100, and as prescribed right now is 50. So maximum number of partners in a firm should be maximum 50, correct? Okay, can a company become a partner? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Can a firm become a partner? No, it cannot. Now if you see, the partnership is an association of persons, correct? Whenever we use the word person, it means natural as well as artificial person. Whenever we use the word individual, it means only natural person. So since the word is persons, can artificial persons also become partners in a firm? Yes, but can a partnership firm become a partner in another firm? It cannot, because it is not a separate legal existence. Even though the firm has got a name, it is only a collective name that is given to the partners together, but it is not a separate legal existence, correct? Next one, there has to be an agreement. So partnership is always agreement based. Without an agreement, can you enter into a partnership? No. But if you see, there is actually one exception where a person can become a partner without an agreement, and that is rule, by estoppel. So partner by estoppel or holding out. Is he actually a partner? No, but will he have the same liability like that of a partner? Yes. So this is one exception, correct? But normally partnership will arise only because of an agreement. Can it arise by inheritance? No. Can it arise by status? Also no. It is only and only agreement based, right? Next one, there has to be business. Business means 3 things. Any kind of trade or any occupation or any profession. Business can be for goods or for services as well, correct? Can you form partnership for charitable purposes? No. Can you form a company for charitable purpose? Yes. There has to be sharing of profits as well. In what ratio will they share profits? Agreed ratio. If nothing is agreed, then equally. And losses to be shared in the agreed ratio. If nothing specific, then profit sharing ratio. If not, then equally. Can there be partners who only share the profits? Yes, 2 types we have, minor partner and partner in profits only. Next one, mutual agency. Any person, any partner will work in 2-fold capacity. One that of an principal and another that of an agent. When he is working, doing the business in the normal course for the firm, he is the agent. His acts are binding all the other partners, correct? When some other partner is doing the work, he will be the principal, other will be the agent, right? So every person will be an agent as well as the principal. Agar koi kaam nahi kar raha hai amongst themselves, they will have a relation of principals, correct? So amongst themselves, the word used is inter se. So inter se, that is amongst themselves, they will have a relation of the principals, correct? Is partnership also a contract? Yes or no? Yes. So all the essentials of a valid contract, do they have to be satisfied? Yes. Can you form a partnership to kill people? No, because object has to be legal, correct? So all the essentials have to be satisfied. Are there any exceptions? How many exceptions? 2. First is capacity of the parties. So minor can be a partner. Of course, he has to satisfy 3 conditions. They are existing firm, benefits and consent of all the partners, correct? And second exception is consideration is not required for forming the partnership. Why is it is not required? Because it is only an extension of law of agency, and law of agency is an exception to no consideration, no contract, correct? Simple? Okay. True test of partnership. Okay, 3 things. First is prima facie evidence of partnership is what? Sharing of profit. The real what was that? Real test of partnership is mutual agency. Conclusive evidence of partnership is registration, that is entry in the register by the registrar, correct? But true test of partnership, you will have to see these three things. First is there has to be an agreement. Next, sharing of profits out of business. And last one, mutual agency. Just because people are sharing profits, does it mean they are partners? No. So in these 6 cases, there is sharing of profit, but there is no partnership. First case is joint owners, correct? Joint owners also called as co-owners, right? Next one is creditor. Next is agent. Next is widow or child of a deceased partner. Next is sale of goodwill. And last, bonus to the employees, correct? So where creditor has lent money and he is receiving rate of interest which is varying with the profit, hai na? Next one is an agent. He is receiving remuneration which is a share of the profit, correct? Widow or child is receiving the portion of profit. In case of sale of goodwill amount may be very high, so the seller may not be able to pay entire amount. There is a possibility he pays it varying with the profit, and bonus that is given to the employees, it depends upon the profit as well, correct? In all these cases, there is sharing of profit, but there is no partnership. Once again, just tell the important words here. First one, deceased partner, then sale of goodwill and bonus to the employees. Okay. So firm, partnership firm, etc. Okay. The firm name that is there, we can have any name that we want to, right? But 2 things to be kept in mind. Firstly, it should not have the words. What? Crown, emperor, empress, empire, imperial, king, queen, royal, or any kind of words which show any kind of connection with the government, correct? But there is an exception that the state government can expressly approve such particular name, right? And second one, can 2 firms have the same name? Yes, no problem at all. But again, court will protect the first existing firm. That this first person can get an injunction order and stop the other firm from using the name if it is proved that the other firm always had fraudulent intentions, correct? Can you have 2 companies with the same name? No. Can you have 2 firms with the same name? Yes. Nothing prohibits from having the same name, right? Then different forms of organization and partnership cut differences. For every form of organization, first let us always see the 5 essentials of partnership. Uska opposite point likh kar, then we will go to the next difference, okay? So talking about partnership and company, even though the word is joint stock company, it is also only a company, right? So in case of a partnership, the first 5 essentials, first is what? Association of person. So minimum, maximum, ek to association of person. These persons in partnership firm are called as partners. In case of company, they are called as members, right? Minimum and maximum for partnership is 2 and 50, and for company is different for public and private. For public company, it is 7 and maximum no limit. For private, minimum 2, maximum 200, okay? And if it is an OPC, 1% company, minimum and maximum both is 1 only, okay? Next one, what is it? Second essential is agreement. So partnership arises because of an agreement. So no such agreement exists in case of a company, or else we can say the rules and regulations, rights and duties are governed by Companies Act as well as MOA and AOA, correct? Memorandum and articles, right? Next one will be what? Business. Company can be formed, partnership is formed only for business, company, business or charity, correct? Next one. Sharing of profits. In case of partnership, it is shared in the agreed ratio. In case of company, this share of profit is given to the members in the form of dividend, but entire profit is not distributed. How much to be distributed? Decided by the board of directors along with provisions of Companies Act. Okay. Next one is what? Mutual agency. Does it exist in partnership? Yes. Yes. How about in case of company? No, it does not. Correct? ये minimum 5 differences तो हो गया. उसके अलावा बोलो. Liability of partners is unlimited. In case of company members, liability is limited. Right? What else? Registration of partnership? Not mandatory in case of company, super duper mandatory. Correct. Or kya? A partnership is not a separate legal existence entity, but company is a separate legal entity. Correct. Tell me two more. Governing acts, एक तो अलग है, partnership act, and there we have companies act. Correct. What else? Sorry. Huh? Transfer of shares in case of partnership, it can be transferred, but consent of all the partners is required. In case of company, without consent they can be transferred. Okay, so see, actually telling, I'll tell this when we do Companies Act as well, it's a little different. In case of public company, the shares are freely transferable. In case of private company, they are transferable, but there are certain restrictions. Okay, this is a very basic point. You will understand it when we do companies. Okay, what else? Minor should satisfy 3 conditions, and over there only 2 conditions. What are the 2 conditions? Fully paid up shares and by way of transfer. Correct? इसके अलावा और कुछ है? Management. Correct. Over here decisions are taken by all of the partners. Usually by what kind of a rule? Majority rule. But in how many cases? Unanimous consent. 4 cases. What are they? Change in nature of business. Then admission of a partner. Then admission of minor. And one more, transfer of interest. Correct? And in case of company, the decisions are taken by board of directors. Okay, I'm again changing the wordings a bit here. Routine decisions are taken by board of directors. Significant decisions will be taken by the members as well, and they will pass resolutions in the general meeting. Again, I will explain this in Companies Act. Okay, और कुछ है? Winding up, it seems. It can be done anytime there, tribunal. And what else? Duration. Okay, so company has got a perpetual succession, but in case of partnership, it is not so. Death or insolvency, retirement, any situations happen, the firm can be dissolved. Okay. Partnership and club. So partnership ke 5 essentials. Minimum and maximum in case of partners are how many? 2 and 50. In case of club, no limit, nothing, no specification. Correct? Next one is agreement. In case of club, what will you write? No agreement, subscription we can say. Correct? Next is business. Over here, no business. In fact, kya? Charity, recreation, etc. Next one, share of profits. Over here, no share of profits. Last one, mutual agency. Then no mutual agency. Correct? Uske alawa, these people are called as partners. Those people called as members. Partners bring in what? Capital. Members will pay subscriptions. इसके अलावा और क्या है? Interest in property. In case of partners, they have interest. In case of club, no interest. Correct? Remember how they put the chairs back, है ना? So it is as if किसका भी कुछ भी रहेगा. Correct? So they don't have an interest. And dissolution, partnership firm can be affected when a partner dies or because of change of partners, but that doesn't happen in case of a club. Correct? Okay, next one, HUF and partnership. Once again, in case of partners, minimum, maximum. 2 and 50 in case of club. No limit. Then next is agreement. Correct? Over there it is by birth. Correct. Next one. Business. Over there, you said business. I didn't see. Okay, next one. Share of profit. There. Share of profit क्या रहेगा? No share of profit. Depends. Acha, see here they have specified that share of profit is defined. In case of HUF, it is fluctuating, it seems. Correct? Okay, next one is, next difference, mutual agency over there, no mutual agency. Then these people are called as partners, people there called as co-partners and the karta. Correct? If you talk about mutual agency, over here nothing, over here it's there, but over there there's one more other point, no? Karta, whatever he does, it will be binding on that HUF, correct? But if a co-partner does something, nahi rahega, correct? Then talking about liability, partners ka liability, unlimited, HUF, Karta's liability, sorry, I don't know. What is the liability? Karta's liability is unlimited and co-partner's liability is to the extent of their business, correct? Decisions in case of partnership taken by all the partners and here only Karta, correct? What else? Death, it seems, partnership firm will be dissolved. Actually, which we are going to see soon, even if one partner dies, the firm is actually dissolved, okay? Normal rule hai, but again exception exists. So normally, even if one partner dies, firm is dissolved. But in case of HUF, if any one person dies, the HUF is not dissolved. Okay. Or kuch laws are different. Minor can become a partner only on satisfying those conditions, but in this case, by birth. बस हो गया भाई, बहुत हो गया, है ना? Okay, co-ownership and joint ownership. Sorry, partnership and co-ownership. Once again, minimum 2, maximum 50. Over there, nothing, no such limit. Next is agreement. That also agreement or inheritance as well. Correct? Old man dies. ABC, his children are now becoming the owners. Right? So agreement or inheritance or status. Status is nothing but again you can put it under anything. But anyway, so inheritance or status. Next one. Business. Over there co-ownership. No, zaruri nahi hai. Correct? Next one. Share of profit. Here also may or may not be there. Next one. Mutual agency. There no mutual agency. Next is what else? Transfer. Over here transfer can be done only with the consent. There no consent is required. है ना? इतना ही बस. Okay, बस हो गया. Association means anything else. So again 5 things. 5 नको यहाँ पे 2 1 only. Partnership definition and association can be for any reason it seems. क्यों दिया ये? I don't know. Okay. It is club only. This is basically they didn't want to put the word etc. That's why they wrote association. Association, if you actually think about it, group of people who are coming together, right? So if it is not a club, not a co-ownership, not an HUF, and if it is anything else, then this is the difference. That's it. Simple? Okay, so stopping the revision here. This is part 2 revision for unit 1. So kinds of partnership. Based on 2 things, we have different types of partnership. They are, first is with regard to duration and to the extent of the business. So 2 each. First is what? Partnership at will and partnership for a fixed period. And for extent it is particular partnership and general partnership. What is a fixed partnership or partnership for a fixed period? It is formed for a specified or particular period of time. What happens after the expiry of that period? The partnership is dissolved. Correct? What about partnership at will? 2 provisions are not present. Firstly, the duration and second, determination. Determination means what? The method of dissolution. So, method of dissolution should not be specified. Does it mean this firm, this kind of partnership cannot be dissolved? No, it can still be dissolved. And how? By giving a notice. So, that person who is giving a notice, that partner who is giving a notice, the firm will be dissolved from which date? From the date? Date of public notice? No. Date of? The date that is mentioned in the notice. Correct? Firm will be dissolved from that date. Can he mention any date retrospectively? No. Matlab, can he say from last month only the firm is dissolved? No. Over here when he is talking about notice has to be given. Notice in writing means this partner has to tell all the other partners that we will dissolve the firm, or from this date the firm will be dissolved. Okay, this notice does not mean public notice. Fine. Okay, so from which date is the firm dissolved? The date that is specified in the notice. Can it be any prospective date? Yes, but can it be any retrospective date? No. Correct? And when will the firm be dissolved from? Is after giving the notice, after the communication of the notice. Correct? Once this notice is given, can it be withdrawn? Actually speaking, no. But it can be withdrawn if all the other partners give their consent. Fine? What do you mean by a particular partnership? That partnership which is formed for a particular or a single venture. What happens after that venture is completed? The partnership is dissolved. Correct? What about general partnership? That which is formed for that carries out any business in general. Correct? Partnership deed, is it mandatory for every partnership? No. But is it preferable to have a deed? Yes. Certain matters that are specified in the deed are what? Name of the firm, name of the partners, the number, okay, principal place of business and any other places of business. Then date of commencement of partnership, the duration of the firm, capital, contribution, then profit sharing ratio, matters with respect to admission, retirement, then rate of interest on capital or drawings or advances, then how settlement of accounts are done in case any salary is to be given, then provisions with regard to expulsion, etc. Correct? If you note, with all these points also, we will see that this matter has to be given in the agreement. Correct? If we talk about interest on capital, can interest on capital be claimed by the partners? Yes, sir, but two conditions to be satisfied. They are agreement and out of profit. So agreement means what? It should be specified in the agreement. So over here we have interest rate on capital as well. Okay. Similarly, for expulsion, we are going to see that as well. In the last class, we also spoke about salaries. That can a partner actually receive salary? No. Is it his right to receive a salary? No, it is not. Correct? But can he receive it? Yes, if provided in the agreement. And I gave you the engineer example as well. Correct? So uske ghar pe he needs that money right now. Can't wait to make the profit. Correct? So can he receive salary in this case? Yes, he can. Okay. Different types of partners are what? First is active partner. Who is this kind of a partner? He is actively engaged in the business of the firm. Correct? Is he an agent of the other partners? Yes. Means his acts, are they binding on the others? Yes. And any other partner does any act, is it binding on him as well? Yes. He may or may not bring the capital. He may or may not share the profit as well. Correct? Should he give a public notice when he retires? Yes. Then a sleeping partner, also called as a dormant partner. Does he take part actively in the business? No. So he does not take part actively in the business. Does he bring in capital? Yes. Will he share the profit? Yes. Will he be liable for anything that the firm or other partner does? Yes. Is he required to give a public notice? No. Why? Because he is not known to the outside world. No need to give a public notice. Correct? Next kind of a partner is nominal partner. What does he do? He only lends his name. What about capital? No. What about profit? Also no. Correct? Does he take part in any activity? No. एक ही काम करता है. That is, he gives his name to the firm. Because he is giving his name to the firm, to the third party, will he be held liable? Yes. Is he required to give public notice? Yes. Well, the whole world only knows that he is a partner. He's lent his name. He has to give a public notice. Correct? What about partner in profit only? He is going to only share the profits but not the losses. Will he be liable for the losses? No. But will he be liable for the debts of the firm? Yes. If the other partner, whatever they are bringing in, if it is insufficient, he will be liable for the debts of the firm. Correct? Next one is a sub-partner. Sub-partner is that partner to whom a partner agrees to transfer his interest. Can that other person receive the profit? Yes. Can the sub-partner receive the profit? Yes. For him, any act that he does, is the firm liable? No. Anything that the firm does, is he liable? Also no. Correct? Can he take part in the business? No. What can he do? Only one thing. Receive the profit. Correct? Then next one, partner by estoppel or holding out. Actually, is this person a partner? No, but by under certain circumstances, he can be held liable if these two conditions are satisfied. First is what? Either there is an active representation or there is a tacit representation and the other person acted on the faith of the representation and he has given credit to the firm. In such a case, this partner by estoppel will be liable to the extent of that credit that is received. Correct? So, Shahrukh ka example, where I am not a partner, but I tell him that I am a partner and he gives 5 crore rupees, I will be liable. Where he is thinking that I am a partner and he gives 5 crore rupees, I could have denied that I am not a partner, correct? But did I do that? No. So, implied conduct say he believed that I am a partner and he gave 5 crore rupees, I will be held liable for 5 crore rupees, correct? Then next one, what? Minor partner discussed later, it seems. Incoming partner means incoming partner. Outgoing partner means outgoing partner. He will be liable not till the date of his retirement, but till the date of giving a public notice. 3 cases where public notice is not required. Sleeping partner, death or insolvency. Correct. Registration of the firm. Is it mandatory for every firm to be registered? No. But the disadvantages of non-registration are high, indirectly making it necessary for the firms to register. Correct? There is a prescribed form that is available along with the prescribed documents and the prescribed fee. It is to be submitted to an authority called as Registrar of Firms. And what does the registrar do? Make an entry in the register. The date of submission is irrelevant. Date of receipt of certificate of registration from the registrar also is irrelevant. The name, the date of entry in the register is the date from which the firm is actually registered. Correct? These are the 6 details that have to be accompanied along with the form and the fee. What are the 6 details? How did we remember this? To firm, to place and to partner. So 2 firm related. First is the firm name and the duration of the firm. Then principal, place of business or and other places. Next one, name and address of the partner and date of joining. Correct? So once again, these 6 details are to be present. 2 firms, 2 place of business and 2 partners. First is the firm name. Next is duration of the firm. Next one, principal, place of business and other places. Next one, names and addresses of the partners and the date of joining of the firm. Okay. This statement that is there will be signed by all the partners. Either partner themselves can sign it or even their agents can sign it as well. Correct? Then registration. So when is the registration complete? When an entry is made by the registrar in the register. Any kind of alteration, should they be informed to the registrar as well? Yes, these 4 alterations have to be informed. So if you again compare over here, firm name alteration, should it be informed? Definitely. Duration of the firm, should it be informed? Over here they don't specify that, because even after the dissolution of the firm, can the firm be actually continued? Yes. So duration ka point nahi hai. Okay. Next 2 places related. Principal, place of business and other places. Do we have to inform that? Yes. Instead of other places, wordings use the closing and opening of the branches. Correct. Then next one is name and addresses of the partners. Is this required? Yes. And last one is what? The date of joining. Instead of date of joining, we have the change in constitution of the firm. Correct? Clear? So see, first one is what? Name of the firm. Right? We are going in this order. Name of the firm. Then next one is the location. That is principal, place of business and opening and closing of the branches. Next one is with respect to the names and addresses of the partners. And last one will be, yes, constitution, change in the constitution of the firm. Clear everybody, pakka? Okay. Penalty for false particulars, any false or incomplete information sent to the registrar or anything that is given to the registrar which is incorrect, then what is the partner? That person will be punishable. 3 types of punishments, either up to 3 months of imprisonment or with a fine or with both imprisonment as well as fine. Okay. Can these documents be inspected by any person? Yes, because these documents are called as public documents. Registrar fukat mein dega kya? No. So what is registrar going to do? Charge a prescribed fee. Correct? Then what is the conclusive evidence that the firm is registered? Entry which is made in the register of firms. Correct? Prima facie evidence of partnership is sharing of profit. The real test of partnership is mutual agency, and conclusive evidence is entry in the register. But the true test of partnership is 3 things. First is agreement, share of profit for a business and mutual agency. Okay. Consequences of non-registration. So whenever a firm is registered, so not only a firm should be registered, but whoever are the partners right now, their names should be specified with the registrar that they are the partners. Correct? If the firm is unregistered, these are the 3 disadvantages. First is, unregistered firm cannot file a suit on the partners, cannot file a suit on third party. Partners of this firm cannot file a suit on the firm, and the firm cannot claim a set-off. Correct? So first is, there cannot be a suit between partners as well as the firm. then firm also cannot file a suit on third party and cannot even claim a set off, correct? Just because our firm is unregistered does not mean it will attract every disqualification. These are the only disqualifications that are there. These things are not disqualifications, meaning unregistered firm will not be affected by these 5 points. First one is what? It can claim a set off up to how much? Only 100 rupees, correct? Second one, partner can file a suit on the firm, but for what reason? Only for dissolution, correct? Next one, official assignee of the insolvent partner filing a suit on the firm. Why? For receiving his share of profit, correct? Next one, third party definitely can proceed against the firm. And last one, non-registration will not affect any rights that are arising otherwise than out of contract. So this restriction is applicable only and only to contractual rights. For example, what? Example, infringement of a trademark or chori happened at partnership. Some people have beaten the partners. Can they file a suit on them? Yes, just because firm is unregistered doesn't mean they keep quiet, because it does not apply to non-contractual obligations. Clear? Once again, just the important words over here. First case is set off is allowed up to 100 rupees. Next is partner can file a suit for dissolution. Then official assignee of insolvent partner can file a suit. Next one, third party can file a suit. And last one, this applies only to contractual obligations. It does not apply to non-contractual obligations. Correct? Simple? Okay. Ye example I think you may not have understood fully. I understand what is the doubt over here. After today's class you will understand it. Okay? Shall we continue with the rights as well? No? Okay, after some time. Partnership Unit 2 revision, Part 1. Rights of partners and duties of partner. How many rights? 15 rights. And how many duties? 13 duties. First right is right to take part in the business. How many partners have a right to take part in the business? All of the partners. But can the partners agree and entrust work to different partners? Yes. Next one. Every partner has got a right to be consulted. Normally, decisions in partnership are taken by majority rule. But there are 4 matters which are decided by unanimous consent. They are, first is change in the nature of the business. Then admission of a partner. Then transfer by a partner of his interest in the firm. And admission of a minor to the benefits of partnership. Next, every partner has got a right to access the accounts. So he can access, inspect, take extracts or copies of the accounts. Correct? Next one, he has got a right to share in the profits in the agreed ratio. If not, then equally. Losses will also be shared in the agreed ratio. If nothing specifically mentioned, then profit sharing ratio, or else equally. Every partner also has got a right to get interest on capital, provided 2 conditions are satisfied. First is, it is specified in the agreement and only given out of profits. Every partner can also get interest on advances at the rate of 6% per annum, whether or not there are profits. Correct? Next one, every partner has a right to be indemnified. So in case he incurs any expense, liability or penalty or anything for saving or protecting the firm from a loss that may be caused, the firm has to indemnify this partner, right? We read this point also with respect to a partner's authority in case of an emergency, correct? Then next one, every partner should use the partnership property for the purpose of the business, and he should not use it for his personal purposes, correct? And in case he uses it for his personal purposes and makes some gain, then he should account this gain to the firm. Next one, every partner as an agent of the firm, he has got an implied authority to bind the firm in case these 4 conditions are satisfied. First is usual course of business. Next one, in the scope and usual way and Name of the firm. Correct. Next one. Every partner has a right to stop a new partner from being introduced. Correct. Next one. He does not incur a liability before joining. 3 ways of retirement are with the consent of all the partners as per express agreement or by giving a notice in case of partnership at will. Every partner has got a right not to be expelled. So for expulsion, 3 conditions to be satisfied. First is agreement, then majority and good faith. Good faith means 3 points. First is interest of partnership, then notice and opportunity of being heard. Every partner has got a right to share the subsequent profits after, matlab when he is an outgoing partner, until his accounts are settled. At his option, he can either share the profits as proportionate to share in property or interest at the rate 6% per annum. Every partner also has got a right to carry out competing business after retirement. 2 things he can do: carry out the competing business and advertise. 3 things he cannot do: cannot use the firm name, cannot represent himself as carrying on the business of the firm, and cannot solicit customers. Every partner has to be just and faithful to every other partner. The relation is of trust and confidence. It is an Aber May Fide contract, correct? First duty of a partner is to carry out the business in greatest common advantage, means in the common interest of the firm, correct? Any private profit that he is deriving, he has to account it to the firm, right? Next one, he should observe faith. So he should observe faith, nothing. Next one, he should, it's his duty to indemnify for fraud. So because of his fraud, if any loss is caused to the firm, he has to indemnify the firm. Partners have entered into an agreement. In case of fraud, you can retain the profit. Aisa valid hai kya agreement? No. So no partner can contract himself out of it. It is his duty to actually give the profit to the firm, whatever profit he makes by his own fraud, correct? Next one, to act diligently for carrying out the business of the firm. He should not be negligent, he should be diligent. Next duty is not to claim remuneration. The logic being that he is getting a share of profit. He should not get a salary now. But as per specific agreement, can he get the salary? Yes. Next one, he should also share the losses. Next one, he should indemnify for his willful neglect. Janbujh karke, he does not, Saturday, Sunday he is partying. That firm, that customer cancels the contract. Time is the essence of the contract. So firm basically has incurred a loss. What should he do? He should indemnify the firm, correct? Next one, whatever property is there of the firm, it should be used only and only for the firm. He should not use it for his private purposes. But if there is a specific agreement, then he can use it differently, correct? Next one, to account for personal profits to the firm again. So any profit he makes by using the partnership property or name or any business connection, he should give it to the firm. Next one, any competing business ka profit also should be accounted in this partnership. Next, to act within his authority, correct? He should not act beyond his authority. If he does and losses caused to the firm, again he has to compensate. And next one, he will be liable jointly as well as severally. So telephone connection also we've seen. So jointly and severally means that suit can be filed on the partners jointly, or it can be also filed individually, separately, correct? And next one is not to assign his rights. As much as possible, he should not assign his rights to the transferee, correct? What do you mean by partnership property? Property means assets only here, correct? So 3 things are regarded as partnership property. Any property or right or interest which the partners have brought in at the time of, we can say, starting this firm, correct? Second is what? Any property or interest or right which is acquired or purchased over time, that is during the continuance, and also goodwill of the firm, correct? These goodwill of the business. So these 3 things are regarded as property of the firm, right? Anything which is in the name of the partner but it has been taken or purchased by the money belonging to the partnership will be whose property? The firm's property, correct? So actually speaking, kiske naam par hai, that does not matter. with whose money it is purchased, that matters. After, if you see money, another point that matters is the intention of the partners, whether they want to make it partnership property or not, correct? One more point over here is any property is this thing. Application of property of the firm also is nothing. Okay, stopping this revision here. So Unit 2, Part 2 revision. Rights and duties of partners after change in the firm. Whenever there is a change in the constitution of the firm, the rights and duties will remain the same as they were before, correct? Can the partners agree for some other rights and duties? Yes, but if not, then they will remain the same, correct? If a firm is formed for a fixed period, after the fixed period it is dissolved, can they still continue? Yes. Can they again specify other rights and duties? Yes. And if they don't, then it will be same as before, right? In case of particular partnership, what happens after particular venture is completed? The firm is dissolved. Can they continue? Yes. Can they have other rights and liabilities? Yes. If not, then it will be same as before. And in case of a continuing guarantee, which is given to a firm or to a third party on behalf of the firm, if there is any change in the constitution, what happens to continuing guarantee? It is revoked for future transactions. But can it be specified that it is not going to be revoked? Yes. Then will it be revoked? No. Then it will not be revoked. Correct? Then relation of partners to the third party. Every partner has got an implied authority. What do you mean by implied authority? To capacity of a partner to bind the firm by his act, correct? So every partner has got an implied authority if these three conditions are satisfied. First is, act is done in the normal course of business. Second, act is within the scope of the business and done in the usual way, and the act is done in the name of the firm. So depending upon the business, the implied authority of the partner changes, correct? Can every partner hire employees? Yes. Can he pay the rent? Can he pay the electricity as well? Yes. Can he give discounts as well? Yes. If it is a cloth business, can he purchase raw material as well? Yes. Is he required to ask all the other partners whether he should do it or no? No. But his act, is it binding on the firm, on the other partners? Yes. So this is implied authority, correct? But for these 8 cases, a partner does not have an implied authority. We divided those 8 cases based on a story or a flow something. So first one is what? Withdraw a suit. Second is submit this suit for arbitration. Next, compromise or relinquish any claim. Next, admit any liability. And last two, transfer immovable property or acquire immovable property or transfer immovable property, and open a bank account in the name of the on behalf of the firm in his own name. And last one, enter into partnership on behalf of the firm. So partner does not have an implied authority to do it, but can an express authority be given? Yes. This implied authority, can it be extended as well? Yes. Can it be restricted as well? Yes. Correct. And with respect to a third party, is this act done by a partner binding on the third party? Matlab, is the firm liable for an act done by this partner? Yes, firm will be liable. But if the third party knows that his authority is extended or restricted, then will the firm be liable? No, then the firm is not liable, correct? Partner's authority in case of emergency, if partner does these 2 things. First is, he is doing any act to protect the firm from any loss, and this act is prudent. He is acting as a prudent person. In this case, if whatever act the partner does is an act in case of emergency, and is it binding on the firm? Yes, it will be binding on the firm, correct? And a similar duty or right as well, that in case this partner incurs any loss or penalty or something, it has to be compensated by the firm to him. Hai na? Next one, implied authority and third party. So can this implied authority be extended or restricted? Yes. And will the firm be liable? Yes. Where any admission is made by a partner in the ordinary course of business, will the firm be liable? Yes, in case of any notice given to the acting partner, it's treated as if notice is given to the firm. So no need to give the notice to all of the partners, correct? Then liability of the partner, every partner has got a joint as well as several liability. So in case he can be sued individually and also he can be sued jointly, correct? For wrongful acts of a partner, if they are done in the ordinary course of business and with the authority of all the other partners, then the firm is liable. But if it is a personal fraud of the partner, then he only is liable. Firm is not liable, correct? Liability for misapplication. Firm will be liable in these two cases. First case is what? The money is collected by the partner and the partner misapplies it, or money is collected by the firm and the partner misapplies it. In both these cases, the firm will be liable, correct? एक second, एक बार quickly examples देखो. Extension and restriction, okay. Next one, effect of admission by a partner. Discount given by the partner, is it binding on the firm? Yes. Next one is maintenance bill given to one partner is binding. It's binding on the firm, correct? Next one is telephone connection, correct? Next one is petrol mixing, and last one is student paid the fees, correct? Able to recollect all the examples? Okay. Rights of a transferee partner. So this person who is there, right of a transferee, what is our existing partner doing? Transferring his share to the transferee. How much share is he transferring? Whole or part? Part or whole? Both, anything, even in whole or in case of part. Both the cases that other person is the transferee only, correct? How is this transfer done? Either sale or mortgage or any other charge, correct? So what they wrote here, otherwise. So sale or mortgage or otherwise. That other person who is a transferee, does he have the same rights as the original partner? No. Does he become a partner of the partnership also? No. His rights and liabilities, his rights you will see under these two heads. First is during continuation of the firm, and second on dissolution. In the first case, what? He is not entitled to these three things. Interfere in the conduct, or require accounts, or inspect the books. What he can do is only receive his share of profit, and whatever profits are given to him, he is bound to accept it. He cannot challenge the accounts. On dissolution, two things. He is entitled to receive the share of the assets which the transferring could get, and for that purpose he is entitled to accounts from the date of dissolution, correct? Then minor, very very important. So minor, his position in case of partnership can be studied under two phases. One is during minority, and once he attains majority. When he is a minor, how many rights, how many liabilities? 3 rights, 3 liabilities. After his happy birthday, then 6 months, then public notice if he wants to leave, and if no public notice, then deemed continuation. So two things can happen then. Either he elects to continue or he elects not to continue, correct? So first 3 rights when he is a minor, he has a right to receive the agreed share of profit. Second, access, inspect, copy the accounts of the firm, and he can sue for payment of his share, but only when he wants to separate his connection with the firm, correct? Does he have access to books of accounts? No. Does he have access to only the accounts of the firm? Yes. Books का access नहीं है. How about transferee? Both के लिए access नहीं है. No accounts also, no books also, correct? Okay. Now when this minor, he's a minor, what about his liabilities? 3 liabilities. Firstly, it is only to the extent of his share of profits and property in the firm. Next one, no personal liability for any debts, and he cannot be declared insolvent, but if firm is declared insolvent, then his share also will vest with the official assignee. Once he becomes a major, 6 months is given to decide whether he wants to continue or he wants to leave the firm, correct? If he wants to leave the firm, compulsorily he has to give public notice. If he decides to continue, then no need to give a public notice, and in fact no giving public notice means only that he is continuing. So if he is continuing, then 2 points, he will be personally liable to the third parties from the date of admission to the benefits of partnership. Means date of admission from the time he was a minor. And second one, he is entitled to the same share in profit and in property. Correct? Next one, where he elects not to be a partner, then his rights liabilities up to the date of giving public notice, same as that of a minor. Correct? Next one is not liable after giving a public notice, and last one, he can sue the partners for his share of profit and property, as anyway he is leaving the firm. Simple? Okay. Legal consequences of incoming, outgoing, it seems. This is reconstitution of the firm. So any partner who is joining the firm, any partner who is leaving the firm, we say that there is reconstitution of the firm, also called as dissolution of partnership. Is there shutdown of the business? No. Only partner is incoming or outgoing. Correct? Which can happen due to these 5 reasons. First is admission. Second, retirement, expulsion, insolvency, and death. Introduction of a partner. Every partner can stop another partner from being introduced. Correct? When a partner is introduced, he will be liable from the date of admission. But can he be held liable for prior acts as well? Yes, that is by novation. Hai na? Then what? Just because he agrees to the prior acts, can the creditors proceed only against him? No, they have no right to proceed against him, but definitely can they proceed against the firm? Yes, they will. Retirement. Every partner can retire in these 3 ways. First is what? Consent of all the partners. Second one, by an express agreement, and partnership at will by giving a notice. A retiring partner will be liable for all the acts that are done while he is a partner until he gives a public notice. Correct? So while he is a partner, he will be liable, and also any acts that are pending at the time of his retirement. Correct? Should every partner give a public notice? Yes, every partner is required to give a public notice, but these 3 cases no need to give. First is sleeping partner, then insolvency, and in case of death. Correct? When a partner is leaving, he can carry out competing business. He may also advertise. He cannot do these 3 things, cannot use the firm name, cannot represent himself as carrying on the business, and cannot solicit customers. Correct? Any restriction put can be valid provided it is in specified period, specified local limits, and all these restrictions imposed are reasonable. Okay? Can an outgoing partner share profits as well? Yes, till what time? Until final settlements of accounts, and either it can be, so at his option, either it is share of profit or interest at the rate 6% per annum. Okay. Expulsion of a partner can be done if these 3 conditions are satisfied. First is agreement, next majority, and in good faith. Good faith means these 3 things. Firstly, interest of partnership, notice, and opportunity of being heard. Just because an act is given, mentioned in the partnership deed कि अगर ये हो गया तो partner will be expelled, does it mean he will be expelled? No, it should be taken, decision to be taken in good faith. Correct? Over here, good faith will only mean in the interest of partnership. Right? Okay, if these conditions, 3 and 3 points are followed, then what do we call that as? A regular expulsion. In case of regular expulsion, is he a partner now? No. If these 3 plus 3 are not followed, then it is irregular expulsion. In such a case, is he removed from partnership? No. He is going to still continue, means the expulsion is void. Correct? And he will continue as before, deemed to continue as before. Correct? Insolvency of a partner. So 4 points we read. From when, which date will a person be regarded as insolvent or cease to be a partner? First is from the date on which the order of adjudication is passed by the court. Correct? Now he will cease to be a partner from this date. Public notice is not required. After this date, for his acts, firm is not liable. For firm's act, he is not liable. One important point, sorry. The firm is dissolved unless it is mentioned in the deed itself that the firm will not be dissolved. Correct? So, एक partner अगर insolvent हो गया, what about the firm? Is it dissolved? Yes, but can the firm continue as well? Yes, and that is only cannot continue. Can it specify that the firm will not be dissolved? Yes. ठीक है? In case of death, the firm will be dissolved from the date of death, correct? But again, it can be specified that the firm will not be dissolved. The estate of this partner will be liable only up to the date of death, correct? After his date of death, it will not be liable. And a correct point, public notice need not be given. Okay. Okay, everybody, unit 3, dissolution of firm. What is the difference between dissolution of firm and dissolution of partnership? Dissolution of partnership is reconstitution, but dissolution of firm involves shutdown, winding up of the business. Correct? See the differences. First is, in case of dissolution of firm, there is discontinuation, but in dissolution of partnership, there is only reconstitution, not a discontinuation. Correct? Second is, involves winding up, there only reconstitution. Over here, it may be dissolved by the court as well, but reconstitution done only by the partners. Correct? Next one is, dissolution of firm involves dissolution of partnership, but dissolution of partnership does not necessarily involve dissolution of firm. Last one, there is final closure of books, and there it does not involve final closure. Court order or without court order, dissolution can be done. Correct? So without the court order, it is also called as voluntary dissolution, which can be done in how many cases? 4 cases. First case is by agreement, second by compulsory dissolution, then by contingencies, and last one by notice partnership at will. First is by agreement, second compulsory dissolution will happen in how many cases? 2 cases. First is insolvency, next is unlawful business. In case of insolvency, who is adjudicated as insolvent? Either all of the partners or all but one are insolvent, and second case, there is the business is unlawful. So if the business is unlawful from the very inception, then the partnership is void. If it becomes unlawful, then the partnership also becomes void. But if the businesses can be separated, then partnership doesn't become void, but only that business will be treated as if it is unlawful. Correct? Then next one, 4 contingencies. First is expiry of the fixed term, then particular partnership, then death and insolvencies. In all of these cases, it can be provided that the firm can continue. है ना? And last one is partnership at will by giving a notice. That notice will have a date, firm will be dissolved from that date, but that date is a prospective date and not any retrospective date. If the notice doesn't contain a prospective date, then from the date of communication of the notice, firm will be dissolved. Notice once given cannot be withdrawn unless all the partners agree. Correct? In case of dissolution by court, it can be done in these 7 heads. They are, first is insanity, then permanent incapacity, then misconduct, then persistent breach of agreement, then transfer of interest, continuous or perpetual losses, and any other ground. First case may where a partner becomes of an unsound mind, the other partners or his next friend can apply to the court for dissolution. Next is where a partner becomes permanent incapable, then any other partner only can apply for dissolution. If a partner is guilty of misconduct, he cannot carry out the business, then in this case also court can order for dissolution. Then if there is persistent breach of agreement, continuous breach of agreement with respect to management of the firm or with respect to conduct of business or in any other way which affects carrying out the business, court can award dissolution. Transfer of interest, where a partner transfers how much? Whole of his interest, then court can award dissolution. Either whole of his interest is actually sold or it is attached under a court order or even sold for recovery of arrears. If any reason से sale अगर हुआ है, तो court can order for dissolution, perpetual losses and any other ground. ठीक है? Consequences of dissolution. Firstly, the partners have the right to wind up the business after dissolution. So systematically realize the assets, pay off the liabilities, surplus to be distributed and deficit to be brought in. Mode of settlement, these rules will apply subject to an agreement. So if there is an agreement, something else will apply. If no agreement, then this will apply. What is it? Okay, whatever are the losses will be first paid out of profits, next out of capital, and if anything else, then out of in the profit sharing ratio. If there are any assets of the firm, first utilized to pay the debts of the firm, then advances, then capital and surplus, then to be distributed in what ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Whatever, the next point, payment of firm's debts and separate debts. Whatever is the property of the firm, that will first be utilized to pay the debts of the firm, and agar surplus hai to then private debts of the partners. Correct? Similarly, whatever is the private property of the partners, first used to pay the private debts of the partners, and surplus will be used to pay the debts of the firm, correct? Any secret profit that is made by the partner after dissolution but before winding up, that also should be accounted to the firm. Any premium paid to the partnership, and if the firm is prematurely dissolved, then he should get a refund, correct? Only if these two conditions are satisfied. First is as per agreement, and second is depending upon the length of the time during which he was a partner, correct? But in these three cases, nothing will be refunded. First is dissolved due to death of a partner, dissolved due to misconduct of this partner, and no provision given in the agreement. Where a partnership contract is rescinded for fraud or misrepresentation. So a partner was induced to join and other partners committed a fraud or misrepresentation, then 4 rights are available. First is right to rescind the contract, and right of lien on surplus assets, right of subrogation, and right to be indemnified, correct? Then after where the firm is dissolved, can restriction be put on every person, every partner not to carry out similar business? Yes, but this restriction cannot be put if there is a contract to the contrary. Means they agree that you can do whatever you want, and if any one of the partners have paid goodwill, have bought the goodwill of the firm, then can he carry out the same business as the firm? Yes. Liability of the partner done after dissolution will be there till the date of giving public notice. Public notice is not required for these three cases. They are death, insolvency, and sleeping partner. Continuing authority of the partner for the purpose of winding up as well. So the rights and liabilities of the partner not just will continue while in partnership, they will also continue after dissolution till the winding up, correct? Public notice has to be given for any person who is leaving, any partner leaving the firm, or the firm is being dissolved as well, correct? And if minor decides to leave, should he also give a public notice? Yes. But 3 cases we know, no need of public notice, and public notice means what? These 3 things. First is notice to be given to the registrar, then publication in the official gazette, and at least one vernacular newspaper advertisement publication. Okay, that's it.